fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From A to Arbitration, the Wednesday edition. I'm not going to do a Lions Den episode this week. Matter of fact, going to be some changes to the Lions Den. Paul Bolanger, who's going to be the Director of Education, is going to take over the Lions Den. And he's going to have everything CLC. They're going to do a lot of training. You're going to hear from different candidates of the CLC, get to know them better. And so that's going to take a different direction. And I'm glad. So Paul's a very educated dude. And I'm excited about him being the Director of Education. And so he'll be taking that over. I don't know when, but hopefully soon. I'll be back next Wednesday if he doesn't take it over by then and just keep doing episodes on route protection until he does take over, okay? And so there's going to be a change coming to the Lions Den. And it's going to be focused more towards CLC, candidates of the CLC, so you get to know them, like I said, so they can tell you their vision for what they're going to be doing in their current position. And so no Lions Den today, though. I'm kind of in transit. Went to branch 132 in Dallas, had a fantastic time there. And I always love seeing my people. I love it. Just being around my brothers and sisters from different areas, and they showed up in force. Had some drive as far as 2 hours away to come and see us, and that was amazing. And I loved it. In branch 132 in Dallas, that's Miss Kamitra, who will be the next vice president of the union. Her branch, fantastic people. I loved it. And so I got home late last night. I was going to do an episode last night, but I got home so late, I just went to bed because I drove, and I was bushed. So I just went on to sleep, man. I came in too late to do an episode. Well, I'm fixing to leave for Chicago in just a minute. And so I worked today, delivered my route, came in, had a little meeting just a while ago with some of the CLC people. And I'm fixing to head out to Chicago. And I'll be going to their union meeting tomorrow night, the beautiful ones. And they know I love them there. We've got quite the history with me in the Chicago. And so be going there. Several people from the CLC will be going to that union meeting tomorrow night, and I can't wait to see them. We're going to have a great time. We'll be back on Sunday with From A to Arbitration, and we'll go over a lot of stuff. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to go over one thing, and it's something that's, when I saw it, I was angry, and kind of, I'm not going to go off like I was going to, because, I think that how I feel, and this is how I am. You've got to love the city letter carrier in everything that you do. In everything that you do. You have to love the city letter carrier. We have got to love each other. We are the ultimate melting pot. I've always said this. And that's why I love us so much. We're the ultimate melting pot of individuals is the city letter carrier. And I love that about us because we don't all look alike. We don't all think alike. We don't all worship alike. We don't all vote alike. And that's what makes us so wonderful, because we are so different. But we have got to love each other. We have got to love each other. I've always said this. If you love the city letter carrier, you will always win. You will always win. No matter what happens, you will win at the end of the day. All we want you to do is love us and fight for us. If you love me, you're going to fight for me. That's natural. You're going to fight for me. As a shop steward, if you love your people, you're going to educate yourself so that you can protect them and fight for them. As a formal Step A, the same thing. As a branch president, as a business agent, as DRT, as resident officers, you love the city letter carrier, everything else will fall into place. And I truly believe that. You have got to put the city letter carrier first. There is no second. There is no second. Especially as the agent. as the agent of the city letter carrier, you got to put us first. There is no second. I don't care about the financial situation of the post office. I don't care about postal management. I'll work with them when I'm executive vice president. The reason I was so successful at arbitration is because I knew how to handle myself when I went into those settings in a suit with people in suits. There's a reason I was successful. It's because I was respected in there. I didn't go in there like I do on this podcast and go crazy. But I am going crazy and showing emotion because I have taken it upon myself to go after the establishment who has failed the city letter carrier. And I'm going to be the voice of the voiceless. And I continue to say that, and I will continue to say that. And so, yes, in that setting, I have been very successful because I'm very well respected in that setting. So you've got to love us. You've got to put us first. You've got to understand that there is no second. We can work with management. To me, they are our enemy. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. I'll get into a lot more stuff Sunday, but I'm just going to cover this one thing today. But I'm not going to go off like I was, because at the end of the day, we've got to love each other. I love Brian. I love Barner. I love both of them. I think that they are the greatest failures that this union has ever seen. Complete opposites, too. One is just cowardly in Barner, and he has conceded way too much. And I think that if you would have looked at his record at the DRT, you would have understood that that is kind of how he was. Anybody's claim to fame is that I never impassed a case, which I can't believe that to be true. I never impassed a case. You had to understand that when he gets in that setting, there is some form of concession with him. The other is just a disgraceful, narcissistic liar. And I know people get angry that I call them out of their name, but I had an example set to me, and when you set an example to me, that is how I'm going to go forward with you. Just like mutual respect when you talk about 115.4 of the M39. Just like mutual respect. I'm going to treat you how you treat me or my people. Now, once Brian Renfro chose to call my friend a bitch, the female a bitch, and a lot of the executive council did nothing about it. They set the tone with me. They showed me how they want me to treat them. That's how I feel. That's how I am, especially since it was a dear friend of mine. And so that's the reason I have called them out of their name for so long, because they have set the example to me. And some people may not like that, and that's fine. That's just how I am. I will always defend my friends to the death. And so love the city letter carrier. Love us. Put us first. Nothing second. That way you can never take your eyes off of us. If there is something second, you will take your eyes off of us. You will take your eyes off of us. And it has happened too much with this administration, with Renfro and with Barner. I'm going to talk about this one thing, the memos that came out. And it's the perfect example of what I've been talking about with Renfro, the skillful negotiator. And if you don't want to, I'm doing no education today. So if you don't want to listen to me talk bluntly about something, go on and turn on something else, and you won't offend me. I won't know you did it anyway. But I heard that there are new memos coming out. And this is the way my mind thinks. This is the way I am. That there are some new memos coming out. And in my mind, I'm thinking, hopefully, there will be memos coming out about what the parties are going to do about the toxic working environment. One of the main things, and we've talked about this a long time, one of the main things that affects my people so negatively is the toxic working environment. It's unlike anything else in the country. You talk to anybody in any other business, any other company, and tell them about what goes on here, they can't believe it. They cannot believe the toxic working environment that we have to endure. So to me, in my mind, I'm thinking we've got a new memo. I'm hoping and praying that it's to deal with the toxic working environment, that hopefully the parties have gotten together and said, look, this is how we're going to deal with a toxic working environment. Now, when we take over, when the CLC takes over, we're going to take that upon ourselves. When I see online people saying, taking shots at the CLC negatively about the dogs of war, about how we're going to do it, saying, they're just going to think they're coming in there and management's going to bend over, management's going to give in. I'm not concerned about management. That's what everybody needs to understand. I'm not concerned about management. We are taking management out of the equation. They have nothing to do with this. It's not whether they agree with it or not. We're going around management through the grievance procedure, through arbitration, and we're going to train those individuals on how exactly to do that, how we're going to handle every step, every phase, the things, case file building, going through the district manager, because the district manager should be neutral. That's how I feel. The district manager, anybody in the district is under his purview or his purview, right? So to me, they should be neutral. They should say everybody is going to be treated the same. Craft, supervisors, managers, postmasters, anybody, everybody is the same. We're all going to be treated the same, and I'm going to make sure that as a district manager. Of course, we understand that that's not true. You had the teleconference that I played, where this district manager, she was vile at best, and she despised the city letter carrier. She despised us. Matter of fact, I would go as far to say she hated us. And you heard that in real time on that teleconference. You also had, when I had the closing argument on one of my episodes, when I was down in Jackson, and that district manager, where you had the postmaster, station manager, threatened to shoot and kill a city letter carrier. You had that district manager. You could tell she despised, she loathed us, the city letter carrier. Almost smirky when she was talking about reducing that removal to a letter of warning. So here you have an individual threatened to shoot and kill us and gets a letter of warning, which would never happen in any other business other than the Postal Service. So in my mind, I'm thinking maybe they're coming out with a new memo on the toxic working environment. Or maybe we're coming out with something jointly, a memo talking about the delayed mail. An epidemic right now is delayed mail. I'm going to cover that Sunday. I'm going to tell you what we're going to request and how we're going to address delayed mail. Because to me, as a letter carrier, we're in the business of delivering mail. That's what we do. But mail has become second place. It's a numbers game. It's a shell game is the mail. Numbers is a shell game. We don't care about mail any longer. We care about numbers. And so all we care about is beating figures. When they say, have your carriers off the street at this time, they don't care whether the mail is delivered or not. They will leave entire routes in the station. I told you about the IMPU that denied every one of the 3996s and told everybody to bring the mail back at a certain time, and it stayed there the rest of the day. Was that reported properly? No idea. But we're going to start addressing that. That's one of the things that when the CLC takes over, we are going to address is the blatant disregard for the delivery of mail, which is something that you would have never heard about back 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And so numbers, it's all about numbers. It's a shell game. The mail, not important. So maybe with such an epidemic of delayed mail, maybe there's going to be a memo come out about the delaying of mail. What about the backlog of grievances? That's an epidemic. We have now, I told you about the numbers, 35,000 cases pending the DRT. 35,000 cases pending the DRT. And our leaders are clueless as far as what to do. Clueless. How we got here, I have no idea. Management has hijacked the grievance procedure. And they have done so with killer precision, and it's snuck up on us, and it shouldn't have. It snuck up on us, and now we have 35,000 cases pending DRT. In New Orleans alone, 12 to 13,000 cases in New Orleans alone. 12 to 13,000. Now here you have New Orleans that had such a backlog of cases that they implemented something called the C-Team, and we talked about this in the past. The C-Team, they come in and they wholesale thousands upon thousands of cases. Now, you will get a large portion of money, but you're going to get a percentage of what you should have gotten if the process worked, if those cases flowed through the DRT, if they would have been scheduled for arbitration and gone forward with, if I've been getting $200, I should get $200. If that's what the going rate is on a grievance for, say, failure to meet, information, Article 8, and we've escalated a remedy up to $200, then I'm going to expect $200 when my case goes forward. I'm not going to expect $50. But that's what management has done. You've heard me talk about non-compliance. My issues with Barner with that, with him going into these meetings with the DRT talking about no more cease and desist. Lloyd going crazy and they're yelling, raising his voice at the parties about non-compliance, about cease and desist, about we're weaponizing that. First off, if I'm in any meeting and anyone from management starts raising their voice and my people are in there, I'm going to stop that meeting and I'm going to tell my people to get up and leave. If you want to yell at your people, you can do that, but you will never, ever raise your voice at mine. That's not going to happen. When I'm EVP, I will never raise my voice to any of my people. Management, damn sure ain't going to do it. And that's just the way that's going to happen. And so, but you hear these stories of that happening over the non-compliance and the backlog of grievances. And so you've got 12 to 13,000 in New Orleans. So here's what's going to happen there. You're going to see the C-Team come back in on them. And that's a complete failure of the business agent in Region 8 to allow that to happen. A complete failure on his part. They're fixing to sell those people out again in New Orleans because you're not going to send 13,000 cases to arbitration. You have failed my people again down in New Orleans. So they're fixing to get the screws put to them again down there. But you've got a backlog of grievances. And you have a president, an executive vice president, with no idea how to handle that. So I'm thinking maybe we're fixing to get an agreement, an MOU on the backlog of grievances. Maybe that's what it is. Because again, that's how my mind thinks. Maybe we're going to get a memo on non-compliance. Maybe we'll get a memo on that. You talk about the payments going out. Let me give a shout out to my man JB. JB sent a grievance up on management changing our start times. And if y'all, that's happening a lot, we'll talk about this Sunday, but episode 68, if you go to episode 68 on From 8 Arbitration, episode 68 covers start time changes. Go there and get that because they're doing it a lot. I'm seeing a lot on social media. We'll talk about that Sunday. But start time changes. JB files a grievance. Sean Stout, who is a savage from up in East Tennessee, was the advocate for that case. Now, he's a young buck, and he's going to be great. And he has the passion that you're looking for in an advocate. An advocate is someone who represents carriers. Not an arbitration advocate, which he is, but an advocate, period. Somebody who loves the city letter carrier and in every position defends them. He is a great advocate for the city letter carrier. He's from up in Kingsport. He was tasked with doing the arbitration, and they didn't want to go forward, so JB and Sean Stout got my people in Nashville almost $300,000 because management changed the start times. And local management doesn't understand the criteria. What happens is you're going to have district levels tell people to change start times for no rhyme or reason, just to fuck with the city letter carrier. There's no rhyme or reason. They're going to say because 3 clerks can't get the mail up, they're going to affect 40 carriers, which has never made sense to me. 3 clerks can't get the mail up, so we're going to affect 40 carriers. We're going to change those start times. JB files on every one of them. I always tell people to always file on them because you can't lose. Even if you lose, they've already done it. So almost $300,000 JB won. Sean Stout put his signature on that, which we appreciate, my brother Sean. So you've got non-compliance. You've got things like this going on where all this money is going out. You got Glasgow, Kentucky as an example. Millions of dollars in settlements. They refuse to pay that. And so you got that in Glasgow, Kentucky. Those carriers are going to be very wealthy if management would just pay the settlement. They're refusing to do it now. So maybe, just maybe, with all these issues, toxic working environment, delayed mail, backlog of grievances, non-compliance, the things that are important to us, the city letter carrier, maybe, just maybe, my president's been going across the aisle there, and they're going to come out with a memo about these things. And then I get the memo. The MOU. Now, let me tell you this, and this is a fight we've been having for ages, is attendance, annual leave, sick leave. Management is right now, and has been for years. Some of my very first episodes were about attendance-related issues. Vera D. Bug, remember that? That's a long time ago. That's 3 years ago. But a sick leave. I will always be an advocate for the city letter carrier on sick leave. Why? Because it's in the ELM. They made an entire chapter just for us. Section 5 of the ELM talks about my benefit. That's what it's called, benefits. And so it's a benefit of mine and my people in light blue to use sick leave. It's a bargain for thing. And so management immediately starts attacking us. They talk about you're not regular in attendance, whatever that means. Nobody can ever explain that to me. People start sending me pictures of whiteboards they're putting up, and these are going around everywhere, these whiteboards. 10 sick calls today is on this one, reflection, 10 sick calls today. You've got another one that somebody sent me from around the way. Perfect attendance, third quarter. It has the names of the individuals that say perfect attendance. Then somebody else sent me this, and this is a text from somebody in management. It says, Matthew, when I sit down with a carrier that has one absence, the conversation is very different. And this is a hypothetical. Kate, you called out, looking at your 3972, this is the only time in a quarter. Your attendance is good as far back as I can remember. Keep up the good work. Just in case you need it, referring to my checklist, here is information on FMLA and EAP. There are also the ELM sites about your requirements to be regular in attendance, and we go over them. Now, this is somebody who's called in once, and she just admitted no other issues with attendance. None. The first time, I'm going to have a discussion with you. On the first time, I'm going to have a discussion with you. I'm going to talk about FMLA and EAP. And here's your welcome back packet as well with the ELM provisions. That's on one. That's intimidation. We'll talk about a little bit about that in a second. There are also these ELM sites about your requirements to be regular in attendance, and we go over them. I've also added arbitrations for your review, supporting what the ELM says. My policy for attendance in the office is the second call out in a quarter might be worth review for corrective action. The second call out in a quarter, remember that. Remember that, please. The second call out in a quarter might be worth review for corrective action. That's the second call in a quarter. I certainly don't expect that will be an issue, given your history. But I have to treat everyone the same. Here's your 3971 and 3972 to sign. I don't even ask them to sign the checklist. I sign and date it in their presence with their name, and it goes into their attendance file with a blank copy of the packet. So they're telling you it goes in their attendance file. These are these welcome back packets. So here you have somebody who's called in once, and now here's what happens. I call in once. I'm going to be taken into the office. I'm going to be given a discussion. I'm going to be shown my 3972, 3971. That's an attendance review on one occurrence. And I'm going to be given these ELM provisions, a welcome back packet. And then I'm going to be told that if I call in again, I could be looking at corrective action. That's on 2 occurrences. Remember that. If there's any problem you need to help with, I sure hope you can come to me. Want to know why people think that's adversarial? Because of the pitchforks and torches mentality saying it is. Current, post, case, and point. No good employee wants to hear, let's go talk in the office. But it happens because I no longer have the ability to tell John, who calls out all the time, that he gets those meetings and not take because Kate is a good employee. So if the union isn't to blame for that, then who is? She's blaming the union, right? I'll read that again. Want to know why people think that's adversarial? Because of the pitchforks and torches mentality, saying it is. Current, post, and case in point. No good employee wants to hear it, let's go talk in the office, but it happens because I no longer have the ability to tell John, who calls out all the time, that he gets those meetings and not take Kate back because Kate is a good employee. So if the union isn't to blame for that, who is? So it's the union's fault, right? Now a carrier who calls out regularly is likely to suffer corrective action. I'll give you an example of a grievance meeting on a 14-day. The union steward argued that I neglected to inform her of her FMLA rights and therefore was in violation of the law. I pulled out her checklist and the blank copy of the welcome back packet and said, she's gotten this information 17 times. Next step to corrective action is considered every 5 absences. Well, what do you suggest I do to improve? You're absolutely right. There was no defense on that one. That's what the packet is for. That's how I train supervisors to handle the attendance. So the welcome back packets, she tells you there that they're used against us in discipline. Okay, we all know that. It does not take the place of a 16-2 discussion. So here you have management, full on press right now with attendance. They're putting it on whiteboards. You have these welcome back packets. These meetings are nothing more than intimidation tactics. She tells you that you've got 1 occurrence. That's good. If you have 2 occurrences, we could be looking at corrective action. Okay? That's why we need our agent. That's why we need our agent, because I have a benefit. It's outlined in Section 5 of the ELM. I have a benefit, and you have management full-on press to keep me from using that. 1 occurrence, I get the rundown. I get taken to the office and get a beating for 1 occurrence. You have them changing my FMLA to AWOL. A lot of people tell me about that. You got them changing my sick leave to AWOL. Those are intimidation packets. You got the return to work packet. And we are the only ones in the post office doing the work. That's what makes me angry, especially over these MOUs that came out that I'm fixing to read. Especially that you have toxic working environment, delayed mail like crazy, a backlog of grievances and non-compliance like we've never seen before, and management's response to all of that is, hey, your attendance is bad. We're the most incompetently run company in the country. In the world, probably. Management in this company has zero idea of what to do. Zilch. And their response to all of these things is that perfect, the meme of the guy that was a Naked Gun 2.5. Do you remember when he's sitting there saying everything's fine and everything's burning behind him? That's what management is. Management is the most incompetent people I've ever seen other than the president of this union. They're the most incompetent. They falsify, lie, cheat, steal. Like I say, toxic work environment, delay mail, just have routes sitting on the floor. Non-compliance, they refuse to comply with any signed grievance settlement. And their response to that is, hey, but your attendance is bad. You missed a day. If you missed 2, we could have a problem. If you miss 2 days in a quarter, might be looking at discipline. They're going to lie on you, tell you that you're AWOL when you have FMLA. Why ask me to get FMLA if you're going to charge me AWOL? You're going to have a return to work packets and sick leave if you take that change to AWOL. If you take annual leave, they will change that to sick leave. And so you got all this stuff happening. And at the end of the day, it's the light blue, the city letter carrier that does all the work. And we're being treated like this. Management will never be subjected to crime, robbed on the street. They will never be subjected to that. We will every day. They will never be subjected to rain, the elements, storms, snow, anything like that. The heat, they will never be subjected to that. We are. And yet we are the ones treated like this. We do get sick. We do get sick on this job because we are out in the elements. They would never understand that because they sit their fat asses in a chair all day in the air conditioning away from the elements. So they will never understand what we go through every fucking day. They never will. Then you got this memo. That came out. And I'm hoping and praying, hey, look, maybe we will get something on all of these issues that I just talked about. Here's the memos. M 2014, annual leave carryover for leave year 2026. The parties agree that for leave year 2026, regular workforce career employees covered by the USPS NELC agreement may carry over 520 hours of accumulated annual leave from leave year 2025 to leave year 2026. They can carry over 520 hours. In all other respects, the Employee and Labor Relations Manual provisions for payment of accumulated leave are not changed because of this memorandum. This MOU will expire with the conclusion of the 2026 leave year. Here's this other part, 2013, M 2013. The parties agree, it's monetization of annual leave. The parties agree that NELC career employees will be allowed to sell back a maximum of 80 hours of annual leave prior to the beginning of the leave year, provided the following 2 criteria are met. I'll read that again. The parties agree that NELC career employees will be allowed to sell back a maximum of 80 hours, that's 2 weeks of annual leave, prior to the beginning of the leave year, provided the following 2 criteria are met. So we put criteria on me being able to buy back or sell my leave, okay? The employee must be at the maximum leave carryover ceiling at the start of the leave year. So here's an employee who took no annual. Took no annual, basically, at the beginning of the entire year to carry that over. Basically took no annual. 2. And here's what got me. 2. The employee must have used fewer than 75 sick leave hours in the leave year immediately preceding the year for which the leave is being exchanged. I'll read that again. The employee must have used fewer than 75 sick leave hours in the leave year immediately preceding the year for which the leave is being exchanged. So, and that's signed by your president, the skillful negotiator, Brian Renfro, and Michael Elston, vice president of labor relations. So your president, who is possibly the biggest conceder of everybody I've ever seen, who has sided with management on just about every hot topic that we have. And I can prove that. Who has just sided, the TA is the perfect example. But other things have happened where he sided with management. You got the memos where he put times in. That's a concession that should have never happened. Here's my problem. Here's my problem with that. When I say, anytime as an advocate, whatever your position, and you put pen to paper, you have got to put the city letter carrier first, and I'm not talking about part of them. I'm talking about all of them. All of them. You've got to take care of them. I'm going to use this example. It's the best one I've got. I've got an assistant shop steward, and she is probably the biggest savage I've ever seen as far as the way she handles herself with management when I'm not there. And even when I'm there, remember when the postal inspectors came and got me about this podcast, and she went with me. JB wanted to go, and I said, I'm fine, brother. I've got Sheila. I'm fine. I'm taking her. Because I know who she is and what she's about. She's straight up savagery. Okay? And in that postal inspector's meeting at the end of it, she's like, hey, y'all keep y'all's notes because I'm going to be requesting all of them. Remember, they tried to lie to me and about something that I had said. And she told, there was a male and a female. She told the male, she's like, I'm going to be requesting y'all's notes, especially yours, and points at his and taps on the table. Because he had a name signed that they said I did not mention. He had written the name and circled the name. Okay? And so when they told me that, I was like, well, yeah, I told you the name. It's right there. And so at the end of it, they said, y'all have anything? She said, yes. Now, make sure y'all keep y'all's notes because I'll be requesting those, especially yours. Especially yours. Points out, I'm going to be requesting those with that name on it. Savage. She is a single mother. Okay? She moved down from up north. Life happened to her, okay, like it happens to all of us. Life happened to her, and so she got a letter saying that she was hired on at the Postal Service, and so she moved from up north down here, single mother, and brought 3 kids with her. One of her children is a very beautiful young lady who has Down syndrome, and this girl is the life of the party. And knows she is a beautiful young lady, and so I've met her numerous times, and you can tell she just knows she is the life of the party, right? So she's got Down syndrome, and with that comes some issues, some medical problems. If you know what I'm talking about, a lot of tubes in the ear, a lot of surgeries on that, a lot of times going to the doctor with tubes being put in the ear. Missed a lot of work. Now, when she first came to my station, they would take her back into the office on attendance-related issues because of her sweet, sweet daughter. And when she would leave from the investigation, I would lose my shit. I would lose my shit. And because that is one of my flock. And she is not like us. She is not like me. She has a valid reason why she does not make it to work every single day like she should, like they want her to, right? So, in management, would always say, hey, look, it's out. This is attendance control wanting us to do this. We're not going to issue anything. I didn't care. Because you're going after somebody who legitimately cannot help it, okay? So, when she first came down, she struggled. And she couldn't take annual leave. She couldn't go on vacation because she couldn't afford it. So her annual leave accrued, right? She had a lot of it because she couldn't go anywhere. But due to circumstances out of her control, she missed quite a bit of work because of her sweet, beautiful daughter, right? And now I've got management coming after us full bore on attendance. You heard the lady on the text say, 1 occurrence, no problem. 2 occurrences, we may have issues. Instead of my union coming down on management full force about them fucking with us on our attendance, what you had was the president of this union say, if you want to be compensated for your annual, you can only take 75 sick leave hours in the leave year. Do you know how many occurrences that is in a quarter? A little over 2. That's little over 2 occurrences in a quarter. It's 18 hours. Management is after us. You see them trying to give us things all the time. Pizza parties, gift cards, all this. Every attendance is this way or that way. And I have a right under the ELM, something that's bargained for, to take off if I'm incapacitated to come to work. It's called my sick leave. And they are after us, are bludgeoning us right now with the things that they're doing. And your president signed into an existence that if you take 75 hours of sick leave, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to sell back 40 hours or 80 hours of leave that would have helped this young lady, that would have put groceries in her refrigerator and in her cupboard, to be able to sell back some of that annual that she could never take because she can't take vacation because she can't afford it. And so your president has fucked us over again. Why? Does anybody know why? Does anybody know why the 75 hours was put on there? Was it as an incentive for us not to use our sick leave? Do y'all think that's what it is? What about the individual who had surgery, who has been doing great, took no annual leaves, been at work 100% of the time, had the maximum carryover, and he had surgery? I'm getting on up in years. My knee went out, and so I had to use a couple of weeks of sick leave because of my surgery. You're not eligible. You're not eligible for that. Why? Because your president said you should have come to work. 75 hours of that is all you get. What about if I have FMLA? And I've got my FMLA covers 3 occurrences a quarter. Is that covered? What about if I'm injured at work and I've been out 3 weeks? Because of an injury at work. I've been at work. I have a great sick leave record. I've got a great annual leave record. And I'm injured at work. I got bit. I got mauled, or somebody rear-ended me. Something fell on me. And or I'm walking and there's construction. I don't know about it, don't see it, and break my ankle or sprain my ankle or something. I'm out 76 hours. What about me? Folks, we have a president who is not one of us, has never been one of us. It's an embarrassment to me that he was ever put in light blue, that he ever represented that uniform. What are you thinking, putting 75 hours on a memo? What was the reasoning there? Why, if you're a skillful negotiator, how did you let that happen? The employee must have used fewer than 75 sick leave hours, so I could only have used 74, because fewer than 75 is 74. 74 sick leave hours in the leave year. He is walking hand in hand with management on how to help them with our attendance issues, as they say. We are walking hand in hand with them on how to help their non-compliance with Barner, with a cease and desist, with having arbitrators amend decisions, kicking arbitrators off the panel for joint statement violations, and ruling on joint statement cases. What is happening? What is happening up here? Does anybody know? I will always use my assistant steward. To me, she's the ultimate badass. She's the one I've been trying to get to do a faith-based podcast. Extremely strong in her faith. Extremely strong in her faith. Complete badass. But she cannot benefit from the leave buyback. Management will always want to buy back leave. Why? Because if I take annual leave, they have to pay my replacement. So they're paying me 8 hours to be off and my replacement 8 hours to do my job. Same thing with sick. But for some reason, they hate sick. Do you know why they hate sick leave? Because it forces them to manage. It forces them to get up off their fat ass and manage. That's why they hate sick leave. Annual leave, I know in advance I can make a schedule and I'm done with it because I'm lazy. Sick leave, you're fixing to make me manage now. I'm fixing to have to think about splitting routes because you called in sick. You used a benefit of yours. And so this young lady, who has a valid reason for maybe using 2 weeks or 75 hours of sick leave a year, a valid reason, she cannot benefit from the leave buyback. The 80 hours that she could have gotten with the leave that she has accrued because she can't afford to go on vacation. And so that kind of ran all over me. I guess you could say I was going to be a lot more hostile today, but I think that we need to love each other. We've got to love each other, man. We've got to love each other no matter what we look like, no matter who we worship, no matter how we vote, no matter any of those things. We've got to love each other. I love Brian, like I said. I love Barner. I love them. I think they're two catastrophic failures, and they continue to be so every single day. Brian, his face is on everything right now because he's trying to show that he's fighting like hell, I guess. He's doing everything he can with the new agreement or contract coming up. They're fixing to get into negotiations. He's wanting to show y'all that he's fighting, and it's too damn late. They do not understand what's coming. They do not understand the movement that is going on right now on the workroom floor. It is a movement of the city letter carriers by the city letter carriers for the city letter carriers. They have opted out of the current regime. They're not voting for them in any capacity. I know that Barner is putting a slate together, he's calling business agents, trying to put a slate together. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Renfro may not have a slate. I know that a lot of people are jumping ship on him because they understood the TA was his demise. You have others running. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The city letter carrier is going to take back over this union next year because they understand two things. That you got to put them first and you got to love them. They understand that. That's what they want. That's what they need. That's what they deserve for the things that we've done. But I wanted to talk about that memo because it's the small things like that most people maybe didn't think about. But when I see that, it ran all over me because I will always think of my assistant steward, who, a very strong woman, a single mother, was raising 3 kids, brought those with her down here to Nashville, raising them by herself, doing a fantastic job at work, had things out of her control affecting her attendance, still works her ass off every time she comes in, is an incredible steward. I have complete faith in my station when I'm gone because I know she's there. And you do something like this that could have put food on her table, could have put groceries in her refrigerator, and you do something like this for no reason other than to help management control our attendance. That's the only reason you do that, because you're a skillful negotiator. And you got played again by management, who put something in there that has what? Why would you put that in there? To me, if they say, hey, look, we're going to do this leave buyback, they can buy back 80 hours. Hell yeah, I'll sign that. But they can only use 74 hours of sick leave. I'm not signing that. I'm not signing that. So you're going to affect however many? I'm not signing that. I'm not going to do that to my people. At my station, they used to come in every once in a while. They'll come in and say, hey, 701 is in effect. Good. But it's only those who do a takeoff. No, we're not doing it. So you're going to tell the other carriers that they can't 701? We're not doing that. I have said that I don't know how many times. We're not putting stipulations on things. We're not doing it. We're not saying y'all can 701 because y'all do a takeoff. We're not benefiting you. What if I am not in a position to do a takeoff? What if my mail prohibits me from doing a takeoff, but yet I still come back and there's nothing to do? I can't 701? No, then nobody's doing it. That's how I am. That should have been how this was. It should have been how this was because, to me, Brian thinks that anybody who uses an excessive amount of sick leave is probably a piece of shit. He's management. And I love the guy. I wish him nothing but, and I'm serious here. When he loses next year, I wish him nothing but the best in whatever he does, even if it's going into management. I wish him nothing but the best. I think he's probably a good guy. He's out of his element here. He's not definitely not a president. And he's not one of us. It's an embarrassment that he ever wore light blue to me. And Barner's it's in his nature to be a conceder. That's just how it is. And you can tell by his DRT record, it's in his nature. But don't ever, like I said, when you put pen to paper as an advocate for the city letter carrier, in whatever position you are, put the city letter carrier first and love the city letter carrier with all your heart, and you'll always win. This right here is a disgrace. It's a disgrace because there are people with legitimate reasons to call in sick and use that benefit. Legitimate reasons. If I got pneumonia, if my child is sick, and I'm single mother or single father, if I'm up in the years, I got knee replacement, and I've been a good employee, no annual leave, been doing good on my sick leave, but something happened that's out of my control, and you have signed something into existence that has prohibited me from getting 80 hours of money. You have prohibited me from doing that because there's something that's happened that's out of my control. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace, and anybody who has defended him is a disgrace. And that's my episode. That's my episode. I wanted to talk to you a little bit. Look, forget all that. Forget all that. Light blue, I'm talking to you. Love each other. I see things on social media that are disturbing to me when we go at each other like we do. Hey, I understand people coming at me. I'm a lightning rod. I get it. I get it. I get it. I have no problem with people coming after me on social media or whatever. They do it all the time. Hell, I got 5 things of social media. I got Discord, Reddit, and 3 Facebook pages. And all of them, the comments are open, wide open. So they can come at me. A lot of them are on fake names. I don't care. I'm a grown man. I can handle it. I'm not going to dish it out and then cry about somebody coming after me. But I see my people going at each other on social media over how they think, pray, vote, whatever. And it bothers me. It does, because we are all we've got. We are all we've got. We showed our power in the TA, even though it still got forced down our throat with this arbitration. We showed our power, a percentage of it, our power in the TA. We will show our power again next year when we vote James Henry in as the president of this union. That's a fact. Integrity, a will to fight, a passion to fight, the resume, it's all coming in next year, okay? We're going to put grown-ups back over this thing like it should have been. I love you. I love you. Even if you despise me, I love you, and I will fight to the death for you. Even if you hate me, when I get in there, I'm going to fight to the death for you. And that's a promise. That's a promise. And Sunday, I'll be back with From 8 Arbitration. We'll actually do some education. All right. That's just weighed on me because when I saw that, the first person I thought about was my assistant steward, thinking, damn, here's somebody who's fought their ass off for the city letter carrier, fought their ass off for their children, has had it fucking tough, man. Tough as hell. And is a straight up savage to management if they try to fuck with the city letter carriers. And you do her like this. And that's what I thought. I said, why would you do her like that? You know, she's got a sweet, beautiful little angel that is dealing with some issues and misses some time. And you fucked her over. Anyway, I love you. I love you very much. Going to Chicago tomorrow to see the beautiful ones. Can't wait to see them. Monday, I'm going to be in Atlantic City. We're going to have a meet and greet with Bill and Richie Ray. And then going to Boston the next day. And we're going to have a round table with the BFN. Little question and answer period. That'll be fun. And so I'll talk to y'all Sunday, though, From 8 Arbitration. We'll do some educating, okay? I love you, Light Blue, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.